Okay, sometime last year I made a video explaining why I try to respond to all my YouTube comments. If I was a good YouTuber, my explanation would have been to like play the algorithm or build a community. But no, the reason that I gave is that I kind of see it as like completing a quest. Like, you know, in a video game you get quests. And the reason for that is the way that YouTube Studio shows me comments in the back end is it'll filter them by comments I haven't replied to yet. Those are the ones that it shows first. And so basically they're implying that I should reply, I should respond in some way. And then once I do, it goes out of that filter. And the only way that I can see it is if I go and click a specific thing and remove the filter, and then I can see all the comments. So yeah, the way that YouTube is set up in the back end encourages you to reply, like they want all that engagement going on. I guess it helps people stay on the platform and become more loyal or whatever, and they want more eyeballs. So anyway, yeah, basically it's set up to feel like I'm completing a quest. And, you know, I used to play a lot of video games. Now YouTube's my video game. So that's the explanation I gave at the time. And it is kind of like, to me, as someone who likes to get things done, like complete checklists and so on, that felt like a thing. I mean, you know, I can't do the whole like Pokemon Nexamon collecting all the things, but if there's a set number of quests, as long as they're not too unreasonable, I'm like, yeah, and this is pretty easy. All I have to do is reply or leave a little heart thing and move on. I have gotten a little bit more lax in the past while, because sometimes people will just leave a like, you know, smiley face comments. It's a bit like Instagram then, and I'm like, this isn't really worth replying to. So I just like the comment, maybe not give a heart. If I don't give a heart, if all I do is like, it stays in that comments I haven't replied to thing. But I've been doing it more if the comment's meaningless, because then I still see it there, but it doesn't scream out to me saying reply to me. Okay, so that's what I was doing, but I'm thinking of changing this policy and just no longer replying as much as I used to. And the reason for this is I mentioned in my recent video blog that, well, first of all, I got this email that was just, it took a long time for me to even get around to understanding the context of the email, and then replying took a long time as well, trying to work out what I was going to say to this email, because it was digging into some personal stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have time for this, and I need this person to understand that I am not an appropriate person for them to come to. They should see their psychologist, kind of thing. But then the very next day I got, you know, one of these annoying dumb comments on one of my videos, and it just like, it misunderstood so many things and got so many things wrong. And also it was very clear that this person either hadn't finished watching the videos that they said they'd watched, or they hadn't been paying attention and hadn't really absorbed the information. And it just really annoyed me, because to respond to that sort of a message, for one thing, I'd be covering old ground. I've already explained this stuff in the videos they say they've watched. So I'd just be being repetitive, but instead of on video, it'd be in a text-based form. And I'm like, why should I do that? Why can't you just watch the damn video and pay attention? The other thing is, like, it takes a lot of time for little result, especially like the ones that take the longest can tend to be the dumb, annoying comments where people have said things that are so outrageously long. Like, this is the typical internet problem, where the stupidest comments and the stupidest claims take the longest to debunk, and the stupidest comments take the longest to explain to a moron how the world actually works, or whatever it is that they're asking about or making a comment on. Like, for example, this isn't recent, but in like the past few months or so, I got a comment from someone telling me that antidepressants don't work for anyone except people with bipolar because it stabilizes their mood. And I'm like, you could not be more wrong. Antidepressants, they're not perfect, but for the people it does work for, it can save their life. And then with bipolar, generally you don't give them antidepressants, or if you do, you have to give them a mood stabilizer first. You can't just give someone with bipolar antidepressants just willy-nilly. You have to be careful about it, because it can cause a manic episode and be really dangerous for them. And I explained it to this person, and then they just keep doubling down, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was trying to be really, like, I was trying to be polite, but after a while they were just so intentionally dense, or I assume intentionally, if they actually believe this stuff. I was just like, you're so freaking wrong. Oh my God. It's just painful to deal with those kinds of people. And, you know, like, I was trying to be responsible and so on and debunk their shit, and I'm just like, I should have just deleted it. Anyway, so, those sort of dumb, annoying comments that take a disproportionate amount of time have sort of gotten me to a point where I'm like, this is not worth it. Like, I used to get into internet arguments, for example, about atheism, you know, text-based arguments and so on, and eventually I got sick of that, because the kinds of people that you're arguing with, they will not budge their position. They didn't even come with an open mind. They came to have an argument, and they came to push their agenda. And so it's like, why even bother talking to them, because they don't actually care. So that's one of the things that's made me think I should just stop this policy of responding to everyone, because a lot of people don't deserve it. Oh, really? And then the comments that I've realized, the better comments that do deserve a response or do inspire a better response, I can just turn them into video answers. Like the recent things I've done with the shorts, I asked people like, what are some questions, and people asked me different questions on shorts, and so I made shorts based on that. And then also I asked in another one for some vlog topics, and you guys gave me vlog topics, and they turned into very long 50-minute vlogs. If someone asks a decent question, why not just make a video about it instead of text-based? Like, one of the theories about writing it in text is that other people can come along and read the comments, and so other people get benefit. That's why I prefer those comments rather than people trying to private message me stuff, because then instead of just one person benefiting, a lot of people benefit. But I know a lot of people don't read comments these days, so if I just answer someone's comment in a video, then it's easier for everyone to get the benefit of it, and it's not just like me wasting my time on one person. I can waste my time on all of you. So yeah, like having that experience of answering your comments has made me think maybe that's how I should handle comments better. Like if it's something that's worth it, if it's something that inspires a response, why not do it that way? But yeah, so if I get back to some of the more negatives, like other reasons to stop, my mental health has actually been worse. I know I can still present well enough on camera when I need to, but I've had a lot more days where it's been really difficult. I talked a bit about some of that last vlog. Well, and by this time, you know, whenever that vlog was, yeah, I talked a bit about that, and it's just like I can't predict what days I'm going to not function. And also, like for the first part of the day, often I don't function generally. It's usually in the afternoon and evening that my brain properly wakes up. And that's been getting worse over the past while. Like this year, the fact that I still haven't worked this year, and I haven't even driven a car, like I can't bring myself to get in the car and go anywhere. All I could do is go in the car and film a vlog. That's all I could manage. I haven't had the confidence to feel like I could drive safely even. So yeah, I'm in a bad way. Like it's rare for me to have periods where I can't work at all. I've had some really bad days. I'll try not to think about it too much right now. So yeah, my mental health has obviously been in decline, and that's meant I've had less patience for some of these people. Like some of the comments I've started to reply just saying, you know, your comment is stupid, basically. It doesn't deserve a response. Like that's starting to become my response. And yeah, like with the whole thing about debunking people's bullshit, being responsible, that like I'm just less willing and less able to do it. Like I shouldn't have to think for other people, and I shouldn't have to correct other people's bullshit. I should just delete. If people are gonna write things that are wrong and harmful, like that could actually get people killed, like, you know, with the bipolar thing, giving bipolar people antidepressants so they go and have a manic episode and go and do something and get themselves injured or killed. And also telling people with antidepressants that their antidepressants don't work, so then they go off and die too. Like, I can't have that. I'm just gonna delete those kinds of bullshit, I think, from now on. Yeah, like that whole responsible thing. I'm like, you know, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anyone important. It's not my responsibility to make sure that I'm setting people straight about the dumb things they think. I think like when my mental health was better, I did try to play some of that role, because like otherwise I'm just on YouTube being a narcissist kind of thing, and it's sort of like maybe I should try and help people in some way, but no, fuck it, I'm just gonna be a narcissist because that's where my mental health is at. I need to look after myself. Another thing is like I was trying to do a little bit of the free speech thing, like letting people have an opinion, but if you have your opinion, I'm gonna have my opinion too. And sometimes like when someone's not necessarily wrong, but they have an annoying opinion and I just don't have time for it, it's sort of like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna respond to them, and I'll probably delete them too. I think deleting comments, that probably helps with the quest thing, because once they're deleted, they're gone anyway. And some people will delete their comments after I've slapped them down anyway, because I don't know, they get embarrassed or something and they don't have the guts to leave their stuff up, so they just disappear and take my reply with them. It's like, thanks. Now my reply means even less, and all I have to remember it by is this screenshot. I have a folder called Screenshots of Idiots, and every now and then it cheers me up. Anyway, and then, yeah, like another reason I used to respond was so that other people can read it. So someone writes something that's completely wrong, and I write why they're wrong, and then someone who's passing by and could read it and be like, oh, that's a good point. And then they'll get it right, like they'll realize, and that'll help them. This is something that happened, like, for example, I was in an asexual group on Facebook, you know, when I was depressed, and I had, like, really badly depressed in about 2016, I had a lot of time on my hands. And, you know, like, I had stopped dating again and was sort of reconnecting with that, like, you know, yes, actually, this is what fits me. That's like, so I was reading more of that stuff again, and I was in one of those groups, and you know, like, I said something very benign, because every now and then, it's an asexuality group, but they'd bring trans and gender issues in, and I was a bit more forgiving about that kind of stuff at the time. But yeah, so the post was something about, like, they, them pronouns and someone having trouble learning them, and, you know, the post was being kind of, like, impatient with them, and I was like, look, they'll get it in the end, like, you know, at least they're trying to learn, whereas some people don't want to go for they, them pronouns. And like, all I said was, like, you know, at least they're trying kind of thing. Like, I wasn't negative to the they, them thing. And I had all these people, like, pile on, and they were just super aggressive, and it was really weird. But, you know, now it's 2023. We all know what I'm talking about, that kind of behavior. And so at the time, like, you know, I defended myself, and people are like, you know, no one agrees with you, blah, 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 why are you still here? And I was like, well, you know, there might be someone who's reading this argument who's too scared to get involved, and maybe what I'm saying is helpful to them. And eventually, like, after that, I actually did get some replies saying, yes, I'm one of these people, I didn't want to say anything, but I was reading it and you seem really sensible and I agree with you. Like, I started to get those comments. So I realized when you're having interactions online, it's not just about you and the person you're arguing with, it's about people passing by who are reading it and who maybe don't feel safe joining in, or don't have the energy, or maybe they can't articulate themselves well, because I realized I write better than a lot of people. A lot of people struggle with writing. So yeah, like, that showed me that other people do read comments and they do get some benefit from it. And so I was sort of had that in mind in terms of some of those arguments I get into on my own channel. I don't go and start arguments on other people's channels, but I'll defend mine on my own channel, because it's my channel, it's my digital house. You're coming in here screaming your bullshit, I'm gonna tell you what's what, or tell you to get out, basically. So yeah, but, you know, passerby readers, benefiting them, that's not my job either. And so rather than have those, like, because, you know, the other thing is, for that to work, the original commenter has to leave their comment up, and if they take their comment down, there goes my detailed reply. And so, like, I completed the quest, but now the record of it is gone, apart from my screenshots. Like, so I'm not even guaranteed that as a thing. Like, that's not something that I'm definitely achieving. So it's just like, fuck you. I'm just gonna, basically, so my new policy, I'm only going to reply if it's good enough, or if it does, like, you know, if I feel like it deserves a reply, or maybe to, like, thank someone if they're giving me a compliment, I'll still do that. But, because, you know, I should encourage people to like me more, even if it's like, you know, sometimes compliments get really repetitive and it's sort of like, yeah, whatever. Like, oh, I actually wrote this, I think, to my psychiatrist, is like, when people praise me, I tend to think it's bullshit, and when people criticize me, I tend to think it's also bullshit, because the people praising me, sometimes they say stuff they don't really mean, they're just trying to be nice, and then the people who criticize often don't know what they're talking about, or they have a different opinion, and who gives a shit? It's not what I was going for anyway. Yeah, anyway, no, so, but if I'm trying to be anything resembling a good YouTuber, I should thank people who enjoy my content so that maybe they will come back and watch more, and that way I'm gonna manipulate you all. Anyway, yeah, no, so I'll only reply really, like, if someone's asking me a question or disagreeing with something in a smart way, maybe I'll reply, but then maybe I'll just make it into a video if it's smart enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna reply if I feel like replying, and if people are posting garbage, I think I'm just gonna delete it. I don't have to tolerate, I don't have to leave people's stuff up. I'm not the American government. I'm not forced to do free speech on my channel. And in Australia, we don't actually have free speech. We have implied free speech, something to do with political something, but it's not explicit free speech. And basically, you're in my digital house. Fuck you, my rules go. Yeah, and so I'll delete garbage, and then if people are being really stupid, I think I'm just gonna block them. Like, there was also one person who left like some really, they used a lot of big words, and I think they thought they were being smart, but the substance of the comment was really wrong and all over the place and terrible. They were telling me that I needed to experience more pain to connect with the world, and I'm like, bitch, please, I've been depressed for like 20 years at this point. I've had enough pain in my life. Thank you very much. I do not need more. I need to resolve my pain and move on with my life and try and, you know, experience good feelings in my life instead of the crap ones. But for some reason, YouTube kept deleting my replies to this person. Some kind of AI glitch maybe. It was really frustrating, and so because I couldn't reply properly to them, I just got the shits. And so not only did I delete this person's comment, I just blocked them, because if for some reason I can't reply to their stuff, why let them have platform on my channel that I can't address properly? So yeah, that's another thing that annoyed me, and I just block them if they're being that stupid, like telling me such like, that's actually dangerous advice, telling someone who's got, you know, ongoing depression that what they need is more pain. Like, get lost, get out of here. That's not how it works. I need therapy to work through my issues. I need to find strategies to feel better things in my life. I need to try and find ways to get out in the world more that aren't completely disappointing, like I talked about in a previous blog. Anyway, so I've rambled a bit. Basically, new policy. I'm only going to reply if it's good enough, or if I feel it deserves a response, or, you know, just saying thank you for things, or, you know, if all I need to do is say thank you, maybe I'll just leave people a little heart instead, or I don't know. And some things I'll just like and I will move on, and you won't know that I've actually liked it. Yeah, so I'll only reply if it really feels like it needs a response, and in that case I might just make a video depending on how much detail I feel like giving. If people post garbage comments, I'm just gonna delete them. If people seem like they're really stupid or annoying, I'm just going to block them and save myself the future effort. Cool. The one exception I might make is if someone really, really wants me to address a specific comment that they think I might just overlook. There is the super thanks thing, which I think is a bit like super chat. No one has ever used a super thanks on my channel, I think, or if they have, maybe it was only one person. I don't know, I would have to go back and check, but like, you know, basically no one uses the super thanks. No one has been using super chat either lately, but I haven't been doing those, you know, I've only been doing gaming live streams. I haven't really been doing the big talking ones. But yeah, like if someone really wanted me to pay attention, I guess using super thanks and highlighting it that way might work. But I guess I'll see, you know, who uses that and whether I decide to go for that or not. But, you know, because of the nature of super thanks, I probably should pay attention to that. Just, yeah, if people cross a threshold, even with super thanks, I may reject it. But yeah, that's probably the only exception I can think of. So basically, I'm not going to be so forgiving with comments, and I'm not going to respond as much, and I'm just going to do what suits my mental health at this time. I'm looking after myself. I'm not a pro YouTuber, so, you know, like, people just have to deal with me. Like, you all know I have mental illness at this point, so, you know, basically this is just where we're at right now, and yeah, I'm doing things my own way, and that's that at this point. I think that's the end of this video. Cool, yeah, so I'm changing that because, yeah, the things like the quest thing, it's not doing what it used to do for me, and yeah, I am going through a tougher period with my mental health, and I think my brain is like, I don't know, shifting gears in some way. Like, this happens every few years, as my brain just does something different. Like, maybe being depressed is telling me to change my life direction, because like in the past I have had recovery when I've changed things about my life, like starting a new uni course or whatever. That has stopped working when I, got a bit too jaded about uni because I've tried so many courses and dropped out so many times. But yeah, changing my situation can sometimes help things. And then, sometimes depression is a sign that something needs to change about your life. And I might be going through something like that. I think I mentioned last time in my metal vocalist vlog that, I'm thinking like, I'm sort of wondering, is bonsai the right job for me? Like maybe my brain, maybe my whole system is sort of being like, this is not working out for me and I need to change tack. Maybe I need to change jobs. Maybe I need to focus more on music. I do have skills in music. And it's tough because I have to change the way that I think about things, and I have to sort of figure out, like my brain or whatever's going on, it's not clear. It doesn't like just say, this is what you need to do. I have to sit and think and sort of figure out, what is my brain, body, system, whatever, what is it trying to tell me? And yeah, I just don't have the energy to be nice to people all the time on YouTube, or, treat their ideas as if they're intelligent when they're not. Like a lot of people who leave the dumbest, most time-consuming comments to reply to, they're just not worth it. So yeah, I'm trying to look after myself and just figure out, I need to change things about my life. What do I change? Now, the danger is whether I quit things that I shouldn't have quit. But, because, maybe not replying to comments is another sign that I'm withdrawing from the world. But there is this sort of balance with my sanity, and like, it can be distracting if I get a comment that gets me sitting there like, what was this person thinking? And I just sort of stare at the screen for too long and try and think like, how do I even begin to reply to this? That can eat up a couple of hours sometimes, just sitting there doing that. And I could be doing better things. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it there and go home and make some tea, because I really need some tea. Oh my God. Anyway, I filmed a lot today, so well done. Oh, by the way, after I just told you to all fuck off, buy my shirt! Fuck off and buy my shirt. How's that for an outro? See you next time.